In this video I'm going to talk about what I miss and what I don't miss living here as opposed to living in the UK, so stay tuned. Okay, I was going to record this while I was walking the dogs, but typically the wind's really got up again, so if I did that you wouldn't be able to hear what I was saying above the wind noise. That might be a bonus. So the dogs are here in the car. They'll probably start whinging because they want their walk, but we'll carry on regardless. I think we've adapted pretty well living here. There's not much we actually get people to bring when they come over from the UK. There's just a few things like loose tea, because we like our pot of tea. Sue likes her M&S Earl Grey tea bags, and she used to be able to buy them here, but that shop's closed, so she gets people to bring her those. And she likes mint imperials, and you can't buy those here. Other people we know, they really seem to miss loads of things. They get people to bring English bacon and English sausages and all sorts of things over with them, but to be honest, we don't care. We substitute them with local things. Anyway, the main things I miss about the UK are the green countryside and the forests. I'd love to be able to take the dogs for a nice walk through a forest. Here you don't see green very often. Number two, which is a bit odd I guess for somebody who doesn't drink, is real ale. The beer here is rubbish, which is one of the reasons why I gave up drinking 5 years ago. If you could get decent draft real ale, I probably would have the odd pint, but you can't, unfortunately. You can hear Oscar starting to whinge. Number three, it's pretty obvious really from things I've said in other videos: fast internet. The internet here is rubbish, and to have quick, reliable internet like we used to have with Virgin fibre optics in the UK, but you never know. One day they might catch up. Shopping is a bit of a pain here at times, because there aren't that many really good shops like there are in the UK. You know, as an example, if you're doing DIY or decorating or what have you, then in the UK you can go to somewhere like a big B&Q and know you're going to get everything you need. But here there's a sort of a DIY shop called Ideal, and that's the biggest, but that's like a tiny shop in comparison to the warehouse type shops you get in the UK, and most of the rest are just tiny little places. So if you want something specific, you normally have to travel around from shop to shop and probably not get it anyway. So it would be nice to have some good specialist shops here. Last but not least is takeaways. We really miss at times being able to just go and get fish and chips or a good Chinese takeaway. It's not something we tended to use very much in the UK. Probably in a month we had one fish and chip meal and one Chinese takeaway meal. But here, although you can buy fish and chips to take away from some of the restaurants, it's not quite the same, and you're paying restaurant prices. I think in Caleta there's a fish and chip shop, but that's 35-minute drive from here, so they'd be cold by the time I got back. And the things I don't miss about the UK, well, one of the things has got to be traffic jams. I used to get so frustrated in the UK. You couldn't go anywhere, particularly on a motorway and at the weekends, which is when I did most of my travelling, without getting stuck in a traffic jam. Well, not just one normally, loads. Here, traffic jams just don't happen. So number two, I don't miss the cold and the wet. I've always been a bit of a chilly mortal and a bit of a fair weather person. If the weather's bad, I don't do anything. So at least most of the time the weather's good here, so I can go out and do things, even if I don't. The option's there. Number three, I don't miss the bad and the expensive coffee in the UK. It's either poor coffee if you go in a cafe or something, or you could go somewhere like Costa. Oscar, be quiet, thank you. Or you go somewhere like Costa and pay through the nose for coffee, whereas here it's about $1.20 to $1.40 anywhere, and it's always good. Number four, one of the things I don't miss is the short dark days of winter. that you get in the UK. When it's dark by 3:30, it probably doesn't get light till, well, I don't know, I used to get up late, it was always light when I got up, but it probably doesn't get light until at least 8 o'clock in most parts of the UK. Whereas here, although in the summer the days are a bit shorter than they are in the UK because we're further south, in the winter, even in December, even around Christmas time or the end of the year, it's still light, the sun's still shining by 4:30. It doesn't get dark until about 5:30. So at least you have longer days here to do things. And number 5, last but not least, is the general high prices there are in the UK. The UK is a well-used phrase, but rip off Britain. Just about everything costs more in the UK than it does here, and frankly there's no reason why it should. For many things it should cost more here because they have to be imported. Obviously taxes are much cheaper here, particularly indirect taxes. We don't have VAT, there's a small amount of purchase tax on things, and there's no duty on petrol and cigarettes, not like smoke, and alcohol and what have you. Everything's generally cheaper. There's not much I can think of that is more expensive. If I can think of enough things, I might actually do a video about it in the future. Well, that's about it. Sorry it's been a bit of a boring quick one this week, but we'll try and do more next week. I'll actually try and get out filming properly. Right, better take these mutts for a walk. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button, click the notification button, and feel free to leave a comment if you want to. Thanks for watching. Bye.